Hi everybody, welcome back. I first want to start off by apologizing. I didn't have any videos for the past couple of weeks. I have had the craziest chopped up all over the place work schedule, as well as of course physical therapy, and have just been really busy, and my allergies have just rendered me almost completely useless. It started to let up a little bit. I think grass pollen was really high, and I would tell you every day it was just a battle to keep my eyes from watering all day long. I mean, watering so bad to the point literally just sitting there doing nothing and tears streaming out of my eyes. People saying, "Oh my God, what happened?" I'm like, it's allergies. It is not me crying. It is just literally allergies. So really couldn't do a lot in the eye makeup department, so to speak. But I am back. I am glad to be back and glad to be filming once again. I also want to apologize. I'm sure you can hear my air conditioner running in the background, but it is 100 in hell here, so it's probably not going to turn off. But all of that aside, for you today, I have a eye look. I wore this eye look in a couple of videos ago, and I got so many compliments on it. So many people loved it so much that I thought I would bring it for you here today. So I'm going to be using the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. I had used this palette before in the palette bingo challenge that my daughter and I did. That was the first time I'd used it, and then I used it again because I really hadn't played with the shadows in here. But now I played in it a little bit, and I really do like some of them. This isn't a review of the palette, of course. It's just an eye look today. But without further ado, let's get into this. Okay, so to get started, this palette is missing that one shade that I kind of always like to have, which is kind of like a soft, buttery, maybe vanilla-ish, somebody's flesh tone color that I like to just put and lay down everywhere. It's kind of my starter shade so that my shadows glide smoothly, and it kind of also sets my primer, make sure I don't have any like little patches of stickiness where it maybe not be blent as well. So since it doesn't have that, I'm going to take just a little bit of the Laura Mercier translucent powder, and we're just going to apply that all over. So the first shade I'm going into this, my gosh, I need like my wide angle lens to film this thing. But the first shade I'm going into here is this one up here, which is called Silk Cream. This is one of those palettes where it's got the names of the shades on the back, but they're not directly behind the shade, you know, kind of like how ColourPop does. So you read it left to right, which I understand it's for when you're filming, so you can like do this, but like in my head, I know that I'm here, but I'm on this shade. I don't know why I'm rambling about that. I guess it's just one of those pet peeves of mine. Anyway, I'm going into this shade right here, which is called Silk Cream, and that is going to be our transition. Let's get something in the crease started shade. Now, if you'll notice, I'm using a different brush. Usually for this step, I use my tried and true. Yes, it has tape on it from e.l.f. But I've had this brush in my purse, in my makeup bag, for like ever. And this is the SL Miss Glam small contour brush. And as I was looking at it the other day, I was like, you know, this would be perfect in this area. Like, I have a lot of space here. I have a lot of real estate to work with. So I need something bigger to get into that transition area, because 90% of my eyelid is transition. So I'm just going to keep putting this on. Now this color is so stinking close to my own skin tone that it's not going to show up as much. It's not like it's prominent and you're going to see it as much, but it's definitely going to add some more warmth and a little bit of color in there, because we know the primer that I use kind of canceled out a lot of the color because I mostly have darkness through there. So I am putting on quite a bit of it. Now, I'm not reviewing this palette right now, but I will have to say it performs okay. I'm not saying it performs bad, but I've had better, you know what I mean? But for its price point, because I believe this is $35, this one is not mine, it's my daughter's. I don't purchase palettes this big. I have no place to put a palette this big. But for its price point, I think it's worth it. It's a pretty good price. So now I'm going to jump down and I'm going to go into this shade here, which is called Pooter. I don't follow Jaclyn Hill as much, so I really don't know what that is, but this one's Pooter. I don't know if that's somebody's name or somebody's nickname, or if that's what she calls the computer. Could be. That'd be kind of cute. Although I think that would be pewter. Well, who knows. We're going to throw that into the crease. Let's get stuff going and warmed up. And for this, I'm using the Real Techniques. This is the Deluxe Concealer Brush. But again, I have a lot of real estate here, so I like to work smart, not hard. So now that I've got that in there, that's looking pretty good so far, what we've got going on. So now I want to add a lot more warmth to this. Those two shades there, pretty neutral in the realm, but I want to put some warmth into the shade because this really kind of helps open it up and make it pop. So I'm going to go into this yellow shade here, which is called Creamsicle. This is another SL Miss Glam brush, and this one is, or no, I'm sorry, this is a Glamour Dolls brush. I don't know what the name of this brush is. I just know it's a Glamour Dolls brush, but it's got this nice little small fine tip here, so it's great for doing tiny work. I'm going to take this just around the border, ever so slightly. Barely enough for you to even notice it, but it's definitely going to warm things up and help our color out. So this is where I move to my one hand, two brushes. It's kind of one of my favorite things to do is like I'll put a little bit on, kind of lay it on there, and then I'll go back and kind of blend through it with this blending brush. This is my favorite blending brush to use for this process because it's small enough that I can target it just where I want it. And I do have some translucent setting powder down. I've got it down pretty heavy. I really haven't swept anything away, so I guess I'm kind of actually baking today. Because I did find that when I use these shadows, you are going to get some fallout. So I just want something down there to catch that. So now it looks like we're pretty good. Really good to go there. That kind of gave me what I was going for, kind of brighten things up. So now I'm going to go down into a deeper shade. I'm going to work a little bit of the outer corner, but not too much. I'm going into the shade here, Chip. So it's nice, deep, dark brown, but it's got a little bit of red in it. So it's almost kind of like a black cherry, almost kind of color. I'm going to pick up just a little bit of that and kind of start to work it here in this outer corner. Just using the same brush, just clean it off a little bit. And I just buff this in little circular motions in that little V. Actually, my eye kind of sinks in there, so it's a really good guide for doing this. So we got that done, so now let's have some fun. We are going into this shade, which should have been no surprise to anybody who's ever seen me pick up an eyeshadow palette that's got shades like this in it. This shade is called Jada. It's a beautiful matte, kind of teal, but more embarking on that deep, pretty green. It's kind of like, it's like a mermaid color, I mean, it's so, so pretty. So I'm going to pick that up, and I'm going to press that all across the lid, all across the entire space. This one, you're definitely going to get fallout on. You definitely want to be careful with this one. It's kind of powdery. I mean, it's good and pigmented. I mean, I will have to say, this is a really pigmented shadow because I'm not really, like, grinding into the palette at all. I'm literally just, like, tapping it. But you are going to get some fallout with this one. It's kind of almost got that pressed pigment kind of like texture. So treat it like you would a Lorac or an Anastasia Beverly Hills shadow and you will be fine. I'm also kind of smoothing it when I get to where the movable part of my eyelid stops. I kind of just want to make sure I've got it up in there. My eyes are set in a little bit deeper, so I can easily skip over this piece sometimes because it's not like it's hooded, but it's like stuck in there and you don't notice it until I like open my eye really wide, and then it's like we have a gap where there's nothing, no shadow whatsoever, just nothing. I'm gonna go back in again to that color, that chip color, and we're just gonna feather that on our outer corner here. Just kind of feather it on. Then I'm also going to go back into our second shade here, which was, what was you, Pooter? And we're going to kind of take that up to help blend that in. I'm just going to take it right up here as we get into the deep part of the crease. I'm using this Luxie angled brush for this because it's perfect for just getting into that tight little corner right there. Then we're going to take our blending brush, of course, and blend it. Just kind of those windshield wiper motions back and forth. And I might go over and do this step several times until I get it built up to the intensity that I want it at. You know, that's the thing. I mean, you can't take shadow away. You can add shadow, but you cannot take it away. So you just want to take your time. This isn't run out the door makeup. This is, I'm going to be sitting here for a minute makeup. So now I've got that pretty well. I'm going to take my pencil brush here. I like using this one because it's nice and has a little angled tip on it. And I'm going to go right in here and make sure we got that deep part of my eye done. That's a little detail work. This is usually stuff I don't include in my videos. Just for time constraint reasons, you know, just to save time. Because I know your time is precious to you. My time is precious to me. So, you know, just to kind of cut it out and get through it. But, you know, it's nice every now and then when I can take a few minutes and explain every little thing and let you, like, see some behind the scenes, you know, work of how did we pull this all together? How did it happen? Type deal stuff. Not like I'm trying to hide anything. I don't even know why I'm actually even talking about about it like that. But, you know, just, you know, you guys know what I mean. So now, of course, this shade here is calling out to me, and it is called Pool Party, which, if you can't tell, I've been having one of those every day myself. I'm going to go ahead and pop that color on the center of the lid. I'm going to use, of course, my finger for that, because quite honestly, that's always the best way to use a shadow like this. You get the fullest color out of it, and you get the best application for it. Oh, is that not freaking... Oh, that is gorgeous. This color is beautiful, and it's like butter. It's so silky smooth. This is like my Achilles heel shade for a palette. Like, I could hate the entire palette and fall in love with this shade and spend $100 just to have that stinking shade. So we're going to go back into our color Jada. I'm just going to hit the outer, you know, the outer edges of where we just put that lighter color. Just make sure everything is blended nicely. Don't really pick up too much on the brush, just a little bit. Not even dipping back in when I go back and forth between eyes because there's plenty of product. It's just to make sure we don't have, you know, harsh lines. That's the word. So now that's pretty much done with the top. I'm going to go ahead and move down to the lower. I am going to go ahead and whisk away the whatever extra powder I have left and hopefully remove any fallout I might have going out. So now we're going to go ahead and work this lower lash line. Get that going. So the first thing I'm going to use is some of the Lancome Drama Liquid Pencil. This is in the shade Noir Intense. So I'm just going to line the outer edge of the lower lash line, and I'm going to take it to where my iris starts. That's just as far as I ever go with a black liner. So now I'm going to take that dark chip color that we had, taking this on my Luxie Flat Definer, and I'm going to smudge out that liner we just put down. And I'm going to take that all the way across, almost to the tear duct, but not quite. And I'm noticing I definitely have some fallout in my tear duct from that shade, but that's okay, from the dark blue, that Jada. But that's okay, because we'll work it out. So now I'm going to take the first shade, Pewter, or the second shade really, Pewter, and I'm putting this on, this is one of the ABH brushes that comes with the palette. Like my daughter said, try the little end for your lower lash line. Oh my god, now I'm in love. I love using that for that. And we're just gonna further smoke this out.
Just has vanished into thin air, never to be seen again.
And so this is it. This is our completed look. I did throw on some lashes. These are the Ardell Wispies, one of my absolute favorite styles of lashes. I did not put any liner, like any liner on top or any wings. I kind of think that the eye look doesn't need that. Sometimes the, you know, adding like the whole cat eye and everything, it's just not necessary. I think the eye look is bold enough by itself that it doesn't need any help with a wing whatsoever, so I did not add one to this. And I really like it. I mean, we know that when I pick up a palette that has shades like this, those are the shades I have to use. Like, I'm completely drawn, completely gravitated to them. And I really do like how it turned out. I think it turned out really good. Really, really pretty look, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Once again, I of course want to thank you for spending a little bit of your time with me today. I truly, truly do appreciate it. You definitely want to make sure that you hang around. We are only days away from the nation's largest holiday, aka my birthday. I do have a giveaway coming up for you guys for my birthday. It's kind of an annual thing. I do it every year, so you definitely want to stick around. You don't want to miss out on that. And as always, before you leave, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. You definitely don't want to miss out on any videos that I have here. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.